Hey guys, Spud Funk back here again for yet another interesting slash hilarious life story. So this one goes back to my first job interview, which also happened to be my worst job interview ever. Like, I failed at this job interview in every single possible way imaginable. So it all started about 3 years ago from today. You see, I needed a summer job to help save up for a Europe trip that me and my friends were actually planning. Alright, now I remember actually putting out resumes everywhere, like every place I could think of. But of course, everyone was being assholes and not calling me back because I had no work experience. And I just want to throw this in there that getting a job without experience is complete bullshit. Every damn place I applied at wants previous work experience, alright? Now how in the hell do you get that work experience if nobody wants to hire me? Anyways, just when I had almost given up, I get a call at about 11:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, I know what you're thinking. That should be good news, right? Wrong. You see, I was sleeping in and had just woken up and was all tired and still out of it. Now, the guy on the phone offers me an interview for the next day, and I, of course, accept it. But the shitty thing is that I was so tired and out of it, I actually told him, "Sorry, man, I just woke up." After hanging up, I'm just thinking to myself, well, shit, that was a great first impression. So the next day comes and I head out to the mall to go to the store in the mall where I would have my job interview. And this is where I made a mistake. You see, I figured because it was just a retail position, it wouldn't matter how I was dressed. Boy, was I wrong, because when I got there was another person who was actually waiting for an interview, and he was dressed like so well. He was sitting there dressed with a tie and like just all this formal clothing, right? And then there's me sitting there like a douchebag in like hoodie and jeans. So anyways, after about 5 minutes of waiting, some guy comes out of the employee only area and he calls the name of the person actually that was waiting with me, who looked all formal. And I'm thinking, what about me, right? So the guy goes and does the interview. I wait probably about 25 minutes, I would say, and they come back. And now I'm just thinking to myself, as I'm waiting, what the hell's taking so long? Like, they said that my job interview was at 3:30 and I'm stuck, waiting until 4. Now that actually wasn't the case. You see, it wasn't their fault because it was actually my fault, guys. When I answered the phone the other day, I was so out of it and tired, I didn't realize that the interview was actually at 2:30 p.m., not 3:30 p.m. So I got the time completely mixed up. Therefore, I was an hour late for the interview. Now, to be honest, I probably should have just left at that point because, showing up an hour late for an interview, there's a good chance I'm not going to get the job, right? But I decided to try anyway, so the guy was nice enough to actually still interview me, but he did look kind of pissed off that I was an hour late. So just a note, the store that I was applying at was actually an electronics store. It's called The Source, if any of you know that store. It's like a little electronics retail store. So of course I need to know a decent amount about electronics, right, for this position. Now I was thinking to myself, all right, I got this. I know everything about electronics. Like, I am an electronics whiz. This interview will be easy.
Hey, Imperial Fleet, get ready to suck some DAC.
Boy, was I wrong. For starters, rather than sitting at like a table, like a classic interview, he actually decided to walk around the mall with me and interview me. So we were actually walking around the mall, guys, and he was asking me questions while we were walking. And the really annoying part about this is that I ran into like 2 people that I knew that were like, "Oh, hey, Ben, how's it going?" and waving at me and stuff and distracting me while I'm trying to get this interview, right? And it was so noisy. Like, it was just so distracting. So he was asking me all kinds of questions, like, he was actually asking me questions like as if I sold stuff. He's like asking me questions like, explain to me a time that you made a sale and it was really good or something like that. And just other sales related questions, and some questions I didn't even understand. I had to like pass on half the questions. I was like, I pass. Like, I passed on so many questions, guys. Now, the questions that I didn't pass on, this is the funny part. The questions that I didn't pass on were so easy, but I was just so nervous and like such a nervous wreck that I just completely screwed up on. Here's an example. He asked me, do I have a cell phone? And I said, yes. And he said, who's your provider? Now, I should have, said a provider, but I was such a nervous wreck for some dumb reason. I don't know why I responded, Samsung. Fucking Samsung. When he asked me my provider, I said Samsung, the brand of my phone. I should have said TELUS because I was with TELUS. Now it doesn't end there. It gets more funny. You see, he also asked me if I have cable or satellite. Now I said cable. Now the truth is, I actually don't really watch cable television at all. I usually just watch stuff online, right? But I knew he wanted that answer, so I told him I watched cable. And he asked me what my favorite channel was. You know what I said? I fucking said 37. Like, it was just a random number that came to my head. I think he wanted me to answer like OLN or Comedy Central, you know, something like that. Like by channel, he meant like network, not an actual number. I didn't even know what the hell channel 37 was, but I know that was not the answer he was looking for. Now at this moment, this guy is probably thinking I am a complete moron. But can you blame him? I mean, like I said, that my cell phone provider was Samsung. How can you hire a guy at an electronics store that sells cell phones that thinks that Samsung is a provider company? Now, at the end of each interview, you're supposed to actually ask questions. Like, you're supposed to have questions ready. They always ask you at the end of an interview. I asked you questions. Now, do you have any? So, of course, he asked me, do you have any questions? And the only question, I know I need to think of a question. So, the only question I can think of is, so how much does this job pay? That is the worst fucking question you can ask at an interview. That is not what they want to hear, guys. Alright, now, of course, I didn't get the job, guys. Like, obviously, I didn't get the job, right? So, anyways, guys, if you liked the story, if it made you laugh, remember to hit that like button. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. I got so many more hilarious, awesome, crazy life stories to tell. Tell your friends about my channel. Please, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of summer. So, other than that, peace out.